Okie dokie. I'm gonna try this again. So, I previously uploaded a video describing some of the images on this screen and explaining this gyroscope system and how I think that it could potentially provide an accelerating force to a object such as a UFO without any thrust. So the thing about it is that I've thought of some more things, and I know that some of the stuff might not be very clear. So I'm gonna try to go through it again, and I may try to produce a presentation in the long run. But for now, I'm just gonna ramble on this video, and then maybe I'll think of some more stuff. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is a vibration motor, like what's in your phone. So when your phone is vibrating, what you have, imagine that, hold on, let me get a pointer here. Imagine that this right here is the fulcrum of the rotating mass, and you have this weight out here at the end on one side. When this is rotating around, as the weight swings in one direction, it will try to push the fulcrum in whatever it's mounted to, such as your cell phone, in the other direction. And so by spinning this lopsided weight, the cell phone is able to produce a vibration by spinning a motor. Okay, so normally a gyroscope is even weight distribution, and then it just spins up and it provides a lot of stability, the same way that a bicycle tire is difficult to move around if it's spinning. Okay, but if you have two of these rotating masses connected together, they're both connected to the same machine, and they are rotating in opposite directions, and they are synchronized, then instead of trying to push and accelerate the parent mass in all four directions of the two-dimensional plane of vibration or rotation, then when these two weights are moving towards each other, they will cancel, and there will be no vibration along this axis. However, when the two weights swing down, then of course the parent, maybe your cell phone or something, it will still vibrate in one direction with only two of these here. But by rotating in opposite directions and synchronized, the vibration that they would cause is partially canceled. In one dimension, adding one gyro is canceled. Now, this is only the vibration that the gyro would cause that's getting canceled. It's not going to cancel any inherent vibration in the system. So my sentence isn't very clear here, but it's not canceling just any vibration. It's only canceling the vibration that a single weight would cause. Okay, so an array of synchronized pairs working together, opposite of each other, would allow for the stabilization of both dimensions of vibration. So now, as long as all of these four units were spinning at the same speed and in the same locations opposite each other and at the right direction, so this one spins this way, this one spins this way, that means this one needs to spin the same direction as this one does, incidentally, but opposite of this one, and then this one needs to spin opposite of these, but the same as this one. Just like a quadcopter, actually. And then as long as all of these are spinning equally, there should be no vibration at all. When they spin, the phone would not vibrate at all. It would just be stable. It would become very stable. It would feel, it would be as though it was difficult to cause it to move. Okay. So if you have only two of these right now, imagine that the system is incomplete. It's all there, but you're only going to think of this one little piece. If you change the speed of the rotation of these weights while they are only moving right here between these two lines, then the system would want to partially vibrate. It would want to make one vibration cycle up. It would want to accelerate in this direction. So now at the end of that, the weights are moving faster than they were before, and they stay that way. They don't slow back down. They just speed up right here one time, and now they go back to rotating equally. Now you should be moving in this direction right here. Assuming there's no force acting on you, you would just, if you were in space, then you would just start moving this direction however much you accelerated at that time. Okay, so there's some more that you need to think about here though, because that's not very useful. But you need this whole system of all four rotors moving at once, otherwise you'll have vibration the whole time. So as long as this change in acceleration is then matched on the other part of the rotation for the second pair, so when this is moving down, these are actually moving up in the inside here because these are moving opposite. So when this weight right here is moving down, this weight is moving up. So if this one accelerates, but this one does not, then you'll still get this change in velocity right here. However, now this top pair is moving faster than this bottom pair, and you will start having vibration if that's the case. So if during the other half of the rotation, so this first accelerated here, and now it's not accelerating anymore, it's moving at a constant speed. When this weight gets over to here, to this other side, if it accelerates at the same direction as the first weight, then you would get another little bump in acceleration here. And then the gyros would now be spinning faster, but you would have this double push, this little double push of acceleration, as long as they continued then to move at a new constant speed. Okay, so then I talk about some things here. If the gyro system becomes saturated, which is what happens when there's not physically possible for you, using the motors that you have and the bearings that are there, to move those wheels any faster, they're at top speed, terminal velocity, if you will, then you can use reaction wheels, is actually the word that you would use for them, to rotate these around. So now they're facing a different direction. They're facing the opposite direction. And now if you, instead of speeding up the weights, if you slow down the weights using a braking force, then that would still result in this change in velocity in the desired direction. So you could be slowing down the wheels and still result in a speeding up of the system. Now, it would be a challenge to rotate that set of gyros, but if you had an array of sets, so you have this one here, and then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then you have another one, just like you have a pair for this other portion, if you had a pair of these, then they could rotate in opposite directions of each other, still end up facing 180 degrees out, but they would be stabilized against each other. So if one of them spins this way and the other one spins this way, and now they're still both upside down, the UFO would not have to counter that action in any way. So it would only need however much energy it would take to result in that rotation. It wouldn't need to counteract the rotational force like a stabilization gyro, like a bicycle wheel is hard to move. So you would need this pair up here, and then you would need yet another pair. So it would look like this if this one over here rotated one direction and this one rotated in the other direction. Now they could both change direction completely, and there would be no rotational force applied to the parent vehicle. So that's one way to slow the wheels down. However, if the system needs to shed RPMs without doing this, changing the direction, like if you just want to be able to leave them in the same direction they are, but you want to slow the wheels down, you could apply a braking force when the weights are moving either towards or away from each other. and then it would stress the materials. It would result in waste heat, or you could potentially use regenerative braking to recover some of that energy, but you wouldn't have a change in velocity from you applying a braking force to the wheel as it's moving towards or away from each other. And so then if you did that, actually every RPM you could accelerate it when it's moving in the desired direction of travel. And then you could decelerate it when it's going to cancel itself out. And there won't be any change in acceleration from this deceleration of the gyro. And then you could decelerate it again, and then you could accelerate it when it would be beneficial, and then always decelerate it when it's going to self-cancel and there will be no change in velocity. Okay, so that's my UFO description for the moment. Thank you very much.